I remember standing on the free speech platform at the University of Minnesota, over on the bridges overlooking Kaufman, listening. It was in the middle of the Vietnam War rioting, and you could smell tear gas wandering over from the armory where they would, trying to break up crowds. And standing there, and my friend said to me, "What do you see here? Tell me what you see." And I said, "A bunch of fools." And he said, "Look harder." And I said, "Well, there's a whole bunch of people that are very lost and really need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is the only hope." It was a spiritual battle going on that was being waged in the heavenly places, and it was powerful, and I was part of it. I was a soldier, in a sense. The irony was I'd come up there because I was discouraged. Until that time, I shared my faith with everybody who would listen. And before that, I never saw a person ever indicate a decision for Christ. So it was, we'd go witnessing, just a name, a phone number, and a card. I hated this. I mean, there's nothing, I'm kind of an introvert, but I do not like cold evangelism. I certainly don't like calling, it felt like I was selling insurance for State Farm or something. I just didn't care for it, but I did it. I did it by faith. So I had an appointment with a guy named George. I asked him where he was from and tell me a little bit about himself, and he said, probably the most significant thing about me is that last year my mother and father were both killed in a tornado that went through town. And I laid in the rubble and listened to them die. And I said, well, the reason I called you, I told you on the phone, was that I wanted to share with you about how you can know for sure you're going to go to heaven when you die. Would you be interested in, oh yeah, I'd love to see that. And prayed to receive Christ. Life change. I think like 2 weeks later we were out doing evangelism together. And that story could be repeated over and over and over again. There were just hundreds of people every week. I'd get these pieces of paper, and I remember thinking, every one of these little numbers is a story. It's a person. It's somebody who their life will never be the same, and they'll one day we'll be in heaven together. And I'm just guessing now, but about 1 in 4 would say yes. And I wasn't, as far as I knew, I was doing nothing different, except I now understood how God could live his life, that he would want to live his life through me in such a way that I could introduce someone to Christ. It was life transforming. I will never forget that.